जी आपसे चैप्टर नंबर 1 का यानी कि इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ कंप्यूटर का जो है वो अब आपसे टेस्ट लिया जा रहा है, क्योंकि मैंने साथ साथ ये आपसे टेस्ट भी लेना 3 फेज में हम काम कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि आप सबको मालूम है। इंशाल्लाह इसको करने के बाद आपके 10 में से 10 एमसीक्यूज या आपसे अगर वो 20 एमसीक्यूज पूछते हैं तो कोई भी एमसीक्यूज आपका इंशाल्लाह गलत नहीं होगा अगर आप ये कंप्लीट कोर्स जो है वो कर लेते हैं। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। जो हमारा पहला लेक्चर है, द टर्म कंप्यूटर इज derived फ्रॉम विच लैटिन वर्ड कंप्यूटर से निकला है, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास है व्हाट डज द लैटिन वर्ड कंप्यूटर मीन। इसका मतलब होता है टू कैलकुलेट करना, सम अप करना। अ कंप्यूटर इज डिफाइंड एज एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस दैट प्रोसेस, ये डाटा को प्रोसेस करती है। द टाइम ड्यूरिंग विच अ जॉब इज प्रोसेस्ड बाय द कंप्यूटर इज कॉल्ड एग्जीक्यूशन टाइम। Which characteristics refers to computer's ability to perform tasks without getting tired? Diligence. Computers are very reliable, but they are not infallible. The tangible or touchable parts of computer system are called hardware. Which of the following is an example of hardware? तो इसमें लाइट पेन जो है वो आपके पास जो है उसकी एग्जांपल है। इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करते हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर इज अ बेस्ट डिस्क्राइब एज अ set of instructions telling the computer what to do. Which of these is an example of software? तो सॉफ्टवेयर की इसके आपके पास एग्जांपल क्या है? मीडिया प्लेयर जो है आपके पास सॉफ्टवेयर की एग्जांपल्स है, बाकी जो है वो इनपुट डिवाइसेस हैं। Which device used in China 500 BC means calculate about, देखा ना वही आ गया ना, abacus. Who invented Napier bones in 1640? यानी कि 1614 के अंदर जॉन नेपियर ने जो है वो नेपियर बोन बनाया था। स्लाइड रूल वाज इन्वेंटेड बाय विलियम आउटरेड। What was the primary limitation of the Pascaline? It was limited to addition and subtraction. Who invented the automatic loom controlled by punch cards in 1880? Joseph Mary Jacquard. Who is known as the father of computer? Charles Babbage. The difference engine and analytical engine were invented by Charles Babbage. Herman Holtree machine 1819 was used to assist in summarizing information and accounting. Which was the first electromechanical computer 1943? Howard Mark I. What does ENIC stand for? Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. Which was the first electronic general purpose computer? ENIC. The first commercial computer was UNIVAC. Who developed the UNIVAC 1 and ENIC? J. Prosper Ackert and John W. Mokerle. Which computer was the first storage program computer 1952? EDIVAC. The basic arithmetic architecture of modern computer was developed by John von Neumann. What was the main electronic components of first generation computers? Vacuum tubes. Who invented the vacuum tube in 1906? Lee D. Forrest. First generation computer used which language? Machine language 0 and 1. What is the time period of second generation of computer? 1956 से 1963 तक, ठीक है। The main electronic components of the second generation was transistor. The transistor were invented in 1947 by Walter Britton, John Walden, and William Shockley. Compared to vacuum tubes, transistor generated less heat. IBM 1620 and CDC 3600 are example of second generation. Third generation computer 1964 to 1971 used IC, यानी कि integrated circuit. Who was awarded the Nobel Prize for the realization of the first IC? Jack Set Kilby. IC are placed on silicon chip. Which generation introduced the keyboard and monitor for input and output? Third generation. The fourth generation is characterized by the use of microprocessors. VLSI stand for Very Large Scale Integrated Circuit. Who is known as the architecture of the computer microprocessor? McLean-Ted of. The Intel 404 first microprocessor was released in 1971. In which generation did LAN and WAN network start? Fourth generation. Apple Macintosh is an example of which generation? Fourth generation. The fifth generation of computer is based on artificial intelligence. ULSI stand for Ultra Large Scale Integrated Circuit. Which generation of computer is self-learning and reasoning? Fifth generation. C, C+, and Java are used in which generation? Fifth generation. First generation computing devices use parallel processing hardware. Parallel processing hardware and AI software define which generation? Fifth generation. Core i5 and Core i7 are example of fifth generation. Based on technology, computers are classified into how many types? Three. Analog, जैसा कि first था, second digital, and third hybrid computer. ठीक है? Which computer works on continuously electric pulse? Analog computer. Analog data is continuous in nature. Speedometer and voltmeter are example of analog computers. Digital computers process data in binary 0 and 1 form. Which is the most common type of computer? Digital. A modern digital computer can solve problems involving both words and numbers. Which computer combines the features of both analog and digital? Hybrid computer. Hybrid computers are used in A and B, hospital and aircraft. Hybrid computer physical quantities are converted into the digital data. According to size, computers are divided in how many types? 4. Which is the most powerful and expensive type of computer? Supercomputer. The speed of a supercomputer is measured in flops, यानी कि floating point operations per second. Which is an example of supercomputer? Crate T19. Supercomputers are primarily used for nuclear research and weather forecasting. Who invented the supercomputer? Seymour Cray. Mainframe computers are often called big iron. Which type of computer is used by large organizations like banks for bulk data processing? Mainframe. Mainframe computers use dash to provide access to many user terminals. Which company invented the first successful mainframe? IBM. Supercomputers are focused on executing few programs as fast as possible. Mainframe computers focus on executing concurrently as many programs as possible, which is similar and less costly than a mainframe but supports multiple user in mini computers. Mini computers are used as network and internet servers. DEC and IBM AS1400 are example of mini computer. Microcomputers are also known as personal computer in PCS. Which is the cheapest type of computer? Microcomputer. IBM introduced the first microcomputer in 1981. A microcomputer generally consists of a single chip is called CPU, Central Processing Unit. Laptops and smartphones are example of microcomputers. Which section sends command to the ALU? Control section. Arithmetic operations include addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Logical operations involve relative comparisons, matching. The characteristics versatility means to computer can perform different types of tasks. Intangible part refer to the software. MS Excel is a software. Which device is used for aerobatic design and simulation? Supercomputer. A computer that uses discrete transistor in a second generation. Jack S. Clear Kilby work as a Texas instrument. Graphical user interface was introduced in which generation? Third generation. Which type of the following is not a physical quantity? Binary code. Digital computers are used to solve problems involving words and numbers. Aircraft system often use which type of computer? Hybrid. The largest computers involved in the world are supercomputers. Bulk data processing for senses is a typical task for mainframe computers. Diligence means a computer is free from tiresome and boredom. Napier bones allowed operators to calculate square and cube roots. The analytical engine used dash to tabulate polynomial functions. Automatic mechanical calculation. Which generation is currently still being developed? Fifth generation. High-level languages like .NET and Java are used in fifth generation computers. These are very most important MCQs in this lecture. So guys, मैंने आपके साथ इतने important lectures आपके साथ शेयर किए हैं जो most repeated हैं और इसी चैप्टर से relevant है. इंशाल्लाह चैप्टर नंबर 2 को हम 3 फेज में डिस्कस करेंगे, जिसमें चैप्टर नंबर 2 का सिलेबस, उसके बाद उसके नोट्स और उसके बाद उसके 100 एमसीक्यूज का जो आपसे ज्यादा टेस्ट होगा वो लूंगा इंशाल्लाह। जब आप इन लेक्चर्स को इस कंप्लीट देख लेंगे, आप कोई भी मॉडल पेपर उठा के देखेंगे तो आपको पता होगा कि यार इसने अगर ये एमसीक्यूज पूछा है तो इसने कंप्यूटर के कौन से चैप्टर से पूछा है, और प्लस आप 100/100 एमसीक्यूज आपके करेक्ट होंगे इंशाल्लाह।